Time is the most valuable resource we have. It slips through our hands quietly, moment by moment, whether we use it wisely or waste it without thought. Each second that passes is one we will never get back. It's not just about being busy, it's about being intentional. The difference between people who reach their true potential and those who merely survive lies in how they spend their time. Many want success, yet few are willing to embrace the discipline that success demands. Time does not wait for us to be ready. It does not pause for our doubts or fears. It simply continues, and so must we. Every hour is an opportunity to train the mind, strengthen the body, and develop the discipline required to stay the course when the path gets hard. There is no shortcut to mastery. There is no instant version of growth. True success is built in silence, with repeated effort. It is earned in the early mornings, the late nights, the uncomfortable repetitions that no one sees. Those moments when it would be easier to quit, easier to relax, easier to make an excuse, those are the moments that define you. People often ask, what is the secret to success? The answer is simple but not easy. Time well spent, not in distraction, not in comparing yourself to others, not in chasing comfort, but in building yourself. Reading, moving, breathing, focusing, these are not small things. They are everything, because what you do with your time is what you become. The stronger your focus, the stronger your future, the clearer your intention, the greater your impact. Your life is a reflection of your rituals. You cannot plant seeds of laziness and expect a harvest of greatness. The way you spend your time each day, the choices you make in the smallest moments, those are the bricks that build your future. Ask yourself each morning, what am I choosing to become today? And then make that answer real through action, through consistency, through presence. You may not be able to control every situation, but you always control how you respond. Every moment offers a choice to rise or to fall, to focus or to drift, to build or to break. And when you look back one day, it will not be the loud, flashy moments that define your legacy. It will be the quiet, disciplined hours when no one was watching. That is where success is formed. So, be mindful, be deliberate, be present. The path to true success is not hidden. It is walked, one conscious step at a time, with time spent not just wisely, but meaningfully. You are the architect of your time, and through that, you are the author of your life. Time is the one resource we are all given equally, yet how we use it determines the outcome of our lives. Unlike money, it cannot be saved. Unlike possessions, it cannot be replaced. Once a moment is gone, it is gone forever. Many people live their lives as though they have an endless supply of time, postponing dreams, delaying discipline, and convincing themselves that someday they'll begin. But the truth is, there is no someday, there is only now. The clock doesn't pause for us to catch up. Life doesn't wait for our motivation to return. Time continues, silent and steady, whether we honor it or not. When you begin to truly understand the irreplaceable nature of time, your choices start to shift. You no longer seek comfort, you seek purpose. You stop wasting hours on meaningless distractions, and instead begin investing them in things that matter. Not because someone told you to, but because deep down, you realize that the future is shaped by what you do with this exact moment. Every second you give to growth, every moment you spend learning, practicing, moving forward, it all adds up. Just as drops of water carve through stone, so too do small acts of intentional effort carve out greatness. Over time, we often chase after things we think will make us feel fulfilled: status, applause, recognition, but none of these things last if they are built on wasted time. Temporary success that comes at the cost of discipline, of focus, of real effort, will eventually collapse. True success, deep, meaningful, lasting success, only comes when you have respected time enough to use it wisely. You cannot cheat the process. You cannot skip the work. Time will either become your greatest ally or your sharpest regret, depending on how you treat it. Too many people wait. They wait for the perfect moment, the ideal environment, the right feeling, but time doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. Those who understand the power of time don't wait until they feel ready. They begin, they show up, they keep moving. They know that the smallest action, repeated daily, will always outweigh the biggest dream that remains in the mind. It is not what you intend to do that defines you, but what you actually do with the time you are given. When you look around, you'll notice that those who seem to rise above others, those who are consistent in their peace, their power, and their purpose, they are not people with more hours in the day. They are people who have learned to master their time. They protect it, they plan it, they use it with care. And that's why they grow. That's why they build. That's why they succeed. Time, when used wisely, becomes your silent partner in success. It works with you, not against you. It magnifies your effort, amplifies your habits, and multiplies your results. But when you waste it, when you allow it to pass by unnoticed, unvalued, it becomes a source of frustration, of regret, of missed opportunities. You cannot get it back. You cannot ask for more. All you can do is start where you are, right now, and decide to use it differently. So begin now. Don't wait for motivation. Don't look for the easy path. Respect the time you've been given, because your future depends on it. We live in a time where being busy is often mistaken for being productive. But there's a major difference between movement and progress. A person can fill every hour of their day with tasks, distractions, and noise, yet still remain far from their goals. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Intentional action is the bridge between time and success. Without purpose guiding each decision, effort can become scattered and energy wasted. True growth begins the moment you decide to direct your time toward actions that align with your highest values and goals. Each day presents a series of choices. You can wake up and drift through your routine, or you can wake up with clarity, asking yourself what matters most today. People who succeed in life aren't necessarily more talented or more fortunate. What they have is intention. They don't let the day decide for them. They decide for the day. They set goals and follow through, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Every action they take, no matter how small, is a step toward a greater vision. When your actions are intentional, your time becomes meaningful. You stop doing things just to keep busy. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes only to the things that serve your growth. You become more focused, more present, more aware of what deserves your time and energy. And when that awareness deepens, your days become sharper. You begin to live on purpose, rather than by habit. You don't just go through the motions, you move with direction. Intentionality brings discipline. It brings structure. Without it, even the most talented person can fall into chaos. Talent without direction becomes noise. But when your intention is clear, your energy has a place to go. Your efforts begin to build. You feel progress, not from doing everything, but from doing the right things. The things that develop your skill, the things that build your character, the things that move you forward when others are distracted by shortcuts and comfort. There will always be temptations to spend time on what is easy, rather than what is essential. But you must remind yourself that success is not a product of convenience. It is a result of conscious action. The mind must be trained to return to what matters, again and again, even when distractions are louder. This is not something that happens once, it's a discipline practiced daily. You realign, you refocus, you recommit, and in doing so, you shape your life, not by chance, but by design. Intentional action also brings peace. When you know you're using your time well, when you've honored your responsibilities, and stayed aligned with your purpose, there's a quiet strength that grows inside you. You don't need to prove anything to others. You don't chase applause. You simply know that you're on the right path, and that's enough. Success doesn't shout, it moves with quiet confidence, and that confidence is born from knowing you are living with intention. So ask yourself, are you acting out of habit or out of purpose? Are you reacting to the world or creating your own? The answer to those questions will shape your future more than any external factor ever could. Time is not meant to be filled, it is meant to be fulfilled. And fulfillment only comes when your actions are aligned with your values, your mission, and your vision of success. Choose to act with intention, and time will begin to work for you, not against you. The pursuit of success is not a path lined with comfort. It's a journey that requires discipline, a quiet, consistent force that holds you steady when everything else tells you to stop. While the world constantly invites you into ease, discipline calls you into responsibility. It's easy to stay in bed when you're tired. It's easy to avoid the difficult tasks, to postpone the workout, to silence the alarm and say, "I'll try again tomorrow." But success is never built on ease. It's built in the moments when you feel like quitting and still choose to continue. Discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself, it's about being honest. It's the inner voice that says, "I know you're tired, but this matters more." It's what drives you to do the work even when motivation fades. Because motivation is temporary, it rises and falls like the wind. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It doesn't wait for the perfect mood. It moves forward regardless of how you feel. That's why it's powerful. That's why it leads to growth. There will be days when you question the process, days when the results seem distant, when the progress feels slow, when your mind looks for excuses to retreat into comfort. In those moments, discipline becomes your anchor. It reminds you why you started. It carries you through the silence, through the repetition, through the resistance that tries to pull you back. And what you'll realize is that those difficult moments are not setbacks. They are shaping you. They are carving out strength, patience, and resilience that cannot be developed any other way. The world often glorifies instant results, quick fixes, overnight success, shortcuts to greatness. But anything truly valuable takes time. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. Discipline is the bridge that gets you there. When you train your mind to stay focused, to say no to distractions, to stay committed to your goals, even when it's inconvenient, you begin to step into a version of yourself that few people ever meet. And that version of you, that disciplined, intentional, purpose-driven self, is the one capable of achieving real success. Comfort, though tempting, is deceptive. It whispers promises of rest, of safety, of ease, but in truth, it robs you of growth. The more you choose comfort, the less you progress. Growth demands discomfort. It asks you to push, to stretch, to leave behind the familiar, and face the unknown. And only discipline can carry you through that process, not just once, but every day. Through the repetition, through the monotony, through the grind. Discipline is not always loud. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. It's doing what needs to be done even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching, because that's where your true character is built. Not in public applause, but in private sacrifice. Not in moments of excitement, but in moments of choice, when you decide whether to stay the same or become better. There is power in knowing that you can rely on yourself, that when challenges arise, you will show up, that your actions are not based on feelings, but on commitment. That kind of trust in yourself can't be bought. It must be earned, through discipline, again and again. So the next time you face resistance, remember this: comfort will pass, so will discomfort. But what remains is the person you become through it all. Choose discipline, choose growth, and success will follow in time. The life you build is not made from the occasional big moments. It's made from the daily habits you choose to repeat. Your future isn't created in a single decision. It's shaped quietly, consistently, through your routines. Success is not some distant destination you randomly arrive at. It's the natural result of habits done with purpose. What you do every day matters far more than what you do once in a while. If you build your days right, your future will take care of itself. Habits are like seeds. When you plant the right ones, discipline, focus, movement, learning, they grow into results. But if your habits are weak, distracted, or chaotic, the results will mirror that. Many people hope to succeed, but their habits speak a different story. They talk about goals, but their routines are built around comfort, avoidance, and inconsistency. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not closed by more motivation, it's closed by better habits. You must begin to see your daily actions, not as chores, but as rituals that shape your identity. If you want to be strong, train daily. If you want clarity, spend time in silence, in reflection. If you want excellence, practice it in the small things. Every moment is a chance to reinforce the person you are becoming. Your habits are not separate from you. They are you. They reflect your standards, your mindset, and your values. And when you shift your habits, everything else begins to shift with them. Many people wait for inspiration before they act, but those who understand the power of habit don't wait. They act first, and let inspiration follow. This is the quiet discipline of champions. They don't ask themselves how they feel. They ask themselves what needs to be done. That mindset is born from daily training, not always physical training, but mental and spiritual repetition. Wake up, focus, move forward, again and again. That's how progress is made. There will be days when your habits feel small, even pointless, when it seems like you're not getting anywhere. But growth isn't always visible. Just like a tree takes time to grow roots before it breaks through the soil, your habits are working beneath the surface. Stay consistent, even when results are slow, even when no one sees the effort. Those are the moments that matter most, because habits formed in silence are the ones that endure through pressure. What you repeat, you reinforce, and what you reinforce, you become. If you repeat distraction, you'll become scattered. If you repeat focus, you'll become grounded. The choice is always yours. No one can create your habits for you. You must take ownership, not with intensity, but with intention. Choose to design your life, not drift through it. Begin with your mornings, protect your evenings, honor your responsibilities, and hold yourself to a higher standard, not for perfection, but for progress. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. So build habits that pull you upward, that remind you who you are, that keep you aligned with your purpose, especially when the world tries to pull you off track. It won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it, because habits built with integrity lead to strength, and that strength becomes your foundation, your fuel, your future. In a world filled with endless distractions, the ability to focus has become one of the rarest and most powerful strengths a person can develop. Everywhere you look, something is pulling at your attention. Notifications, conversations, noise, constant stimulation. But those who achieve lasting success are not those who respond to everything. They are the ones who have trained themselves to block out the noise and lock in on what truly matters. Focus is not just about productivity, it's about clarity, direction, and the strength to stay on your path when everything else tries to pull you off course. Focus begins with awareness. You must first become conscious of how your attention is being spent, and more importantly, where it's being wasted. Most people don't lose their time in hours, they lose it in moments. A few seconds scrolling here, a few minutes drifting there,
and before they realize it, the day has slipped away. Focus is the discipline of reclaiming those moments. It is the decision to bring your full attention to the task in front of you, not just with your hands but with your mind, your presence, your intention. When your focus is sharp, your energy has direction. Instead of being spread thin across countless distractions, it is channeled into the work that matters. And that's when progress becomes noticeable, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what actually counts. You begin to feel momentum, not from rushing, but from moving with purpose. The scattered mind becomes steady, the overwhelmed mind becomes calm. That is the quiet power of focus. It simplifies everything, but focus isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It's a muscle you build. Every time you resist the temptation to drift into distraction, you strengthen it. Every time you choose depth over ease, concentration over stimulation, you train your mind to serve you, not sabotage you. It won't be easy at first. Your mind will want to wander, but with repetition, it will learn to stay present, and with presence comes progress. The ability to focus also reflects the respect you have for your time. When you focus, you are saying, this matters, my energy matters, my future matters. It's a form of discipline, but also a form of self-respect. The mind, like a tool, must be handled with care. If you misuse it, it becomes dull, but if you train it, it becomes sharp, capable of deep thought, clear decisions, and creative breakthrough. In focus, you begin to experience life differently. You notice details others miss. You hear silence others avoid. You become more efficient, but also more present. Whether you're working, training, resting, or reflecting, focus brings depth to every experience. It brings weight to your efforts, and meaning to your time. You no longer feel pulled in every direction. You move with intention, and that intention creates results. When you look at those who have mastered their craft, you'll find a common trait. They guard their focus. They don't give it away cheaply. They protect it, nurture it, and direct it toward what matters, because they know that scattered focus creates scattered results. But focused attention, even in small amounts, can change the course of an entire life. So return to the moment, clear the noise, recenter yourself. What you give your attention to is what you give your life to, and the more you learn to focus, the more powerfully you will move through the world. Every moment we live offers us a choice to rise or to fall, to push forward or to step back, to build ourselves or to let life pass by. These decisions often appear small on the surface, whether to get up early or stay in bed, whether to study or scroll, whether to speak up or stay silent, but over time, they define the entire shape of our lives. The truth is, your life does not change in a single instant of transformation. It changes slowly, silently, through the countless choices you make every single day. Each moment is a doorway, and you must decide whether to walk through it or stand still. The path to success is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It's open to anyone who is willing to choose growth again and again. No one can force you to take the next step. No one can make you rise when you've fallen. That power is always in your hands. Every single moment, you are shaping who you are becoming through what you choose. There will be times when the easier choice will feel right. Comfort will invite you to stay where you are. Distraction will lure you away from your goals. Fear will whisper that you're not ready. But none of these voices hold power unless you give it to them. You must train yourself to respond with clarity. You must learn to pause, breathe, and remember what matters. Because every moment is not just a decision. It is an opportunity to realign yourself with your higher self. Often we think our lives are controlled by circumstances, our background, our environment, what we have or don't have. But what truly shapes our future are the decisions we make within those circumstances. It's not about what happens to you, it's about what you choose to do next. Even in failure, there's a decision. Will you give up, or will you get back up and try again? Even in uncertainty, there's a choice. Will you hesitate, or will you take a small step forward? This is where your power lies, not in controlling everything around you, but in mastering your response to it. The more you become aware of your power to choose, the more intentional you become with your time, your energy, your life. You stop living on autopilot. You start responding instead of reacting. And this shift, though subtle, changes everything. Suddenly you're not just surviving each day, you're designing it. You're no longer drifting, you're directing. And with each choice made in alignment with your purpose, you grow stronger, wiser, more grounded in who you are becoming. Success is not a single choice, but a collection of right decisions repeated over time. Sometimes you'll choose wrong, and that's part of the process. What matters is that you return to your path, return to your purpose, return to the next right choice, because every time you do, you prove to yourself that you are not a victim of your past or your environment, you are the creator of your future. This journey is not about perfection, it's about awareness. It's about being present enough to recognize the weight of a single moment, and having the strength to choose well. One moment of courage, one moment of clarity, one moment of discipline, and then another. These are the building blocks of greatness, and they are always within your reach. So as each new moment arrives, remember, you have a choice. Choose to rise, choose to grow, choose to become who you were meant to be.